Hello everyone, my name is Mouse Tutorial and today I'm going to show you how to add a configuration file for your mod. Now the configuration file is used to change block IDs and item IDs so that they don't conflict. Users can change the block and item IDs in the config file so they don't have to open up your source code and change it. So in order for this to work, I first need to make a configuration handler. So configuration handler. And I'm gonna initialize it. Now in order for this to work, we need to give it a file. And that file is config /mouse.mods /mouse.mods.config. So this is the path that I want to give to my configuration handler so it can use that. So in order to do this, we type events.get mod configuration directory .get absolute path get absolute path. Okay, so that is this. Now we need a file.separator, which is the slash. Now we need the references.modID plus another file.separator. Now we need again the references.modID, and we need to add .config. Just like that. Should work. Cool. So now we have that, and now we create the configuration handler. It's gonna go inside core.handler, of course. Okay, so we want to make the public static void init, and we need a string file. Cool. Now I'm gonna make a configuration object. So configuration config is new configuration. Cool. Import, otherwise it's gonna throw errors, and make sure you import the MinecraftForum one. Cool, so config is new configuration, and we're gonna give it the file. Cool. Don't throw me errors. Oh, yeah, we need to give it a path, a file, not a path. Wait. Oh, no. Sorry. You need to get absolute path. Get absolute path. But this, save it, needs to be a file, not a string. Cool. And we need to make that static. Sorry for that. Okay, so what we need to do now is make a try catch finally statement because this might give us an error, and if we get an error then we need to catch it, otherwise our mod is gonna crash. So we're gonna try to config.load. So if there is already a config, then we're gonna load it. And inside here we're gonna do the item IDs and block IDs. Well, for now I just want to go on for a minute. Now if we catch an error, we want to fml log.log. So we want to output it to the console with the level.severe. So it's going to be a severe error. Format is going to be E because we need to give it an exception. Catch exception E. And the data is going to be references.modID. Oh my god. Plus has trouble loading the config. So if we catch an exception, it's gonna print that out and it's gonna say this. Okay. Now finally, we want to config.save. Otherwise we will be pretty screwed. Cool. So now we have that. We have the basic configuration file set up. Now we need to add the block and item IDs. So I have a block called base block right here. But for now, we gave it a basic ID of 3000. Now I don't want to do that anymore. So we're going to create a new class inside lib called Block IDs. And this is going to hold two values for now. Public static final int base block ID underscore default, which is going to be the default ID, and the public static int base block underscore ID, which is going to be empty for now, but this is going to hold the actual file, actual number. So this is just going to be a default number. It can be changed later, but this is going to be the final number. So that's what we want to say in mod blocks. We want to give it that ID. So block IDs.base block ID. Import, Ctrl+Shift+O, hit finish. Okay, so that should work. Now in the configuration, we're gonna change that. So block IDs, and then the final one is gonna be equal to config.get. Category is gonna be config.category block. The key is going to be strings.base block name, and the default value is going to be block IDs.base block ID default, and we're going to add .getInt, and the default ID is going to be block IDs.base block ID default. Wow, so this final answer is going to be equal to whatever they said in the config. Now you can do this for block IDs and for item IDs and everything else. You would just add a new, basically the same line as this, but just changing these little things. So that's how you do it. Now make sure to save everything and check out why this is giving us an error. Whoa, why did I do that? Good question. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, of course the problem is new file, open up and close. That should fix everything. There we go, fixed. So we need to give the file not a string. So when we now run our mod, and I have my configuration folder open right here, we should see a configuration file being made in a second. Just gonna take a second. There we go. That's Minecraft. Go. That's Forge. It's still not fully loaded, so it might still come. Come on.